All right, guys. Let me get things. Oh, I missed a button. Hold on. There we go. All right. I think everybody can see us now. All right, guys.
All right.
That's definitely working.
Are we live on all the channels?
Check Facebook. Yeah.
We are live on Facebook and not switched over.
We should in just a minute.
We should
The
start
delay is
streaming.
strong.
Yeah.
We should start streaming on Snapchat since it's not a social media.
Look at that yellow. Really.
Did you hear about that? Yeah, they had a commercial yesterday on the Super Bowl that said, "Social media is bad. Join Snapchat."
That's not social
It's
media.
OnlyFans.
It's literally a social media platform.
There's lots of people using it. It's kind of a
OnlyFans
social.
It's a type of it's a type of social media platform. I wouldn't say it's.
Or is it a marketplace?
Well, I mean, they're all
It's a social marketplace.
Yeah.
You
In
just
exchange for...
just need to know that they are. But
All right. I think we're up on all the platforms.
All right, welcome everybody to
All
the
the social
034
media.
Live. I'm Javad, and this is Nate. Unfortunately, since I say my name every week now, everyone knows how to say it.
Javad?
It's
Well,
no
you'd
longer
think,
like
yeah.
a raffle.
Yeah,
we can't do it as a raffle at Winterfest. We're here to answer all your questions about all things 034. Feel free to ask about anything you'd like. If you ask about updates and when things are going to be available, we might not answer it. Sorry about that. But just because, we're getting to more pressing topics, and we take a no BS approach to responding.
Mm-hmm.
We like to talk very directly about what's going on, and sometimes we hurt people's feelings. Again, sorry about that.
This is a good one that just came.
This is a great one, the second comment there.
Bearded Nate. Oh, yeah.
Oh, bearded Nate. Yeah, I did not shave.
I haven't seen Nate with a full beard.
Yeah, it gets to
Nate,
I get it to like 3/8 of an inch or so, and it just drives.
You got to get
crazy.
past
I
that.
can't get past. It's that
No, it's a phase.
peak itchiness. It
It
just
definitely goes away.
Can't do it.
Then when you shave, it's like everything feels cold and your face feels
Clammy and baby faced. Yeah.
All right, so please ask your questions through the appropriate social media platform of your choice. Not Snapchat, since it's not a social media platform. Let's see. There is apparently this weekend there was some kind of controversy around someone named Cameron in their B8, and I know C7 A6 with a 3.0T supercharged motor. So if you're here and interested about that, we're going to set aside like 10 minutes or so to answer some questions about that. I'll tell you what I think about the whole situation. It's really not that big of a deal. I mean, sorry he blew his motor, but beyond that, I don't think there's too much to talk about, but I've heard of some of the things that have been being said and some of the hysteria out there. Yeah. And so I'm happy to give you the 034 perspective. I have watched his video, which actually was quite good.
Yeah.
I didn't really see any issues with it. It seemed like he was pretty transparent about what happened and even showed the inside of the motor, which shows that it's not a tuning-related failure. So go ahead and ask your questions. We'll get to some other questions before that, and then we'll just kind of tackle that maybe as up to 15 minutes if we need it. All right. Hello, 034. Hope you all are having a great day. Well, thank you very much. It's been a good day so far.
Mm-hmm.
Can't complain. Had a great weekend. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
I watched the last 6 minutes of it, so I got to see
that. Was definitely the most exciting.
I was building IKEA furniture in the way she shed.
Well,
during the game.
I was just mostly there for the Taylor Swift content, and not as much as
Yeah, I checked in from time to time on it.
Yeah.
So. It took me a hot minute to figure out what platform I could stream it from. So.
Oh yeah,
I got Paramount Plus.
I got Paramount Plus, which I'll cancel now.
Yeah, so I need a number to do that.
Received my calendars yesterday, looking good.
Right,
great to hear. You're all set for the year. Can you guys make more B9A4 parts? You're gonna have to tell us what, because we currently, you could pretty much build a B9A4 out of our catalog.
Yeah, we probably won't be doing our own hybrid turbo setups or anything like that. There's plenty on the market already, but beyond that, we've got all.
We are working on tuning, so if you want
stuff
tuning,
coming, there's going to be a bunch of stuff there. Both fueling upgrades, tuning. Obviously, all the tunes will be coming. So all kinds of stuff in the pipeline.
Yeah. What's the story with the silver bullet car to your left?
To your left. So the
Yep.
question, hold on. The question came in. Where was
That's
it?
a cool car. It's been a while.
The question came in is, what's the story of the silver bullet car to the left of the guy with gray hair? Just
It's nice. It's salt and pepper. Yeah, just for the
okay. Yeah.
yeah, this is a cool car that was built by. Well, this article is from 2012, so I believe the car was built in the late 2000s. The car was built by Diogo Azevedo of AMS.
Azevedo Motorsports.
Azevedo Motorsports. I believe he's still around.
That's a good.
I don't think we're connected on Facebook anymore. But it's a B4 Audi 90 with a 12 valve AAA VR6 conversion. Has an intake manifold that we used to sell and an exhaust manifold that we used to sell, and looks like a precision turbo. And I believe it was running our standalone. I mean, this was like a full 034 car.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
It's electronics. Yeah, it's running 034 EFI, which we no longer sell or support. So, anyways, yeah, a really cool car, but yeah, that was over 10 years ago now. Should I change my water pump out now? 63,000 mile 2019 S4. And we are recommending to change it. It's the water pump thermostat assembly. If you're going to start tuning and stressing the motor out, they are a little problematic, so it's not a bad idea, but you definitely don't need to. It's one of those things, like if you want to kind of future-proof your car before you start pushing things. Will there ever be a chance to have a stage 2 file that has cold starts enabled? I know they're disabled because the Sport Cat doesn't require the cold start warm up, the smaller car, but I miss the cold start warm up. I miss the cold start noises.
Is it B8.5
S4? We do get a lot of questions about it now. This does come up, but we're not sure. Undecided. Any plans on having flex fuel tunes, or it will be adjusted based off the real-time mixture, B9 S4? Definitely something we're capable of doing, and definitely something we'd like to do. It's in one of kind of these advanced options that we're working on towards the future. We are doing lots of other types of products, tunes, and advanced features before that. But it is something we will get to. Our goal really at this point is just to allow full E85 to be run on any and all applications. That gives you the most power. It just requires extra fuel system capacity. Obviously, flex fuel is really nice. As someone who doesn't like dealing with E85 and buying it and finding gas stations to get it at, I would appreciate that feature as much as anything.
Yes. Yeah. And we've done a lot of the research already. I've already got, all of the modifications are planned and whatnot. It's just, getting it in, getting it tested, and all of the follow-up work needs to be done.
You guys have any experience with the Mercracing heat exchanger and intercooler for the B9 RS5?
No.
Does Mercracing have an intercooler as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They have an intercooler as well. We have not run that setup, so there's not much we can.
We don't have experience with that. We have had lots of experience with the Wagner kit, which is what all of our tunes have been developed on, and that's definitely a kit we recommend based on our experience. We just, in general, we don't. Other than the supercharger, we haven't used any Mercracing products.
Yeah.
How much leftover chili was there, and how long will it take the crew to eat it all? To be honest, and this is a source of pride for me, virtually none.
Yeah.
It
got.
Yeah, so I think of, let's say, 200 plus pounds of chili. There was less than 3 pounds left. So
yeah, it was a couple of Ziploc bags.
It's probably like 15 servings. And which were completely extra, and I put in Ziploc bags, and people took.
Yep.
I think there was 5 Ziploc bags. I took one home, so enough for a couple bowls, and so I have a an Excel spreadsheet that I use to shop for and calculate the amount of ingredients I need based on my recipe. And so I could just change the number of people that are coming and the shopping list updates. So I have it kind of down to a science. We served about 300 people, which was a little bit less than I think in the past.
Mhm.
I think one year it was about 500 that came. So the event was good and it was well attended, but yeah, almost none. We didn't run out, which was great, and just had a little bit extra. So
We ran out of some chips. I think that was about it.
the chips ran out towards the end. Yes, yeah, but and I bought 4 or 5 huge bags of like party chips from Smart and Final. Yeah, they went fast. Do you have an option for an intake that improves the intake tube as well as the airbox ram air pipe for B9 RS5? It is coming. And we have a really nice setup coming, which will be part of our super duper line of intakes. And so there will be a whole new turbo inlet pipe, which will feed a much larger diameter, higher flow to the turbos. And then that pipe goes back into an S34 shield with a huge super duper air filter on it. We are finalizing the design currently. I think it's probably a few months out still. So if you're interested or in the market, please, hang tight and wait to see what we release. Someone's asking when we're going to release injectors. We will let you know when we're ready to release injectors. We're still testing and sourcing and manufacturing and designing. So, but we have finalized on the injector size and style for B9. We're also working on B8 as well. Someone's asking about a B8 KLi-MAX update. We're getting very close to releasing this.
Yes.
We've bbeen performing the B8.5 beta the past week.
Yep, and I've actually got a B8 guy running as well at this point.
Good.
With a little earlier, I guess, stage beta. But yes, it's working really well. Feedback's been great so far.
I think you're being modest. The beta testers are saying it's life changing.
Yes, there's a couple of like niggly things I'm just wrapping up with some like downshift stuff that's not even related to KLi-MAX. It's just other stuff I want to get polished, so I'm doing more and more revisions. But at this point, we're really close to the point where we can just cut it and ship it. So yes, it's coming along very well. Probably this week we'll have, I think, the rest out to the public for you guys.
Mm-hmm. How long does it usually take from purchase to the time the tunes are available in our profiles? I think we quote like 1 to 2 days.
It's usually a day. Yeah.
Business days, yeah. Because we're closed on weekends. But yeah, if you buy it over the weekend, you'll get it Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, there was a comment. There was a comment in here. They bought it on Saturday. They were wondering why it wasn't in their portal yet. So yeah, it's business days. We have to get you set up in there.
Yeah, we don't unfortunately have staff standing by at all.
No,
all days and hours.
Yeah, we're always working on making it more automated and tying into the e-commerce side of things. But at this time, that's not possible.
Yeah, eventually it'll be instantaneous.
Instant. Yeah.
But right now, we need a human to go in there and do stuff. What are typically some check engine lights you get when the catalytic converters are going out on the B8, B8.5 S4?
There's a couple of different failures. Usually you'll get, they'll start throwing misfires, but usually before they'll start getting a catalyst efficiency code. So you'll start noticing misfires and, it'll typically be on one bank if that cat's starting to go, but then they'll start throwing the catalyst efficiency codes and, various things related to that. Sometimes you get O2 response time codes and that kind of thing, but there's generally symptoms for sure. And you'll get visual signs on a lot of them. You'll get dusty tailpipes and that kind of thing.
Someone says KLi-MAX blew my back and neck out.
Medical coverage is not
One.
Oh, okay. Well, that's our own Nick who did text frantically and enthusiastically after experiencing it for the first time. So
yeah, we've been letting some of the guys at the shop borrow the car and go up.
Bullet rips.
Okay, looks like we have a troll here. Let's see. How you feel about Jackal dropping numbers on the new blower only after 4 days and yall still ongoing 9+ months with no numbers to show? Yeah. Troll face. Well, how long? Okay, let's just establish the facts here. How long has it been since
Oh gosh,
we've been actually tuning?
August, November.
Yeah, so it hasn't been 9 months. Thank you for the straw man.
It's a good question. Honestly, I'd have to go look.
It's been maybe 3 or 4 months, which is well within a time frame for us to develop an engineering test.
But I mean, it's also over the holidays and all that jazz. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
hold on, and then and so dropping numbers is very easy. Anyone can do that, right? We could have dropped numbers, like I said, 3 months ago after spending an afternoon on the dyno. It's not hard to just get in there and change some values that will raise the boost and add some more fuel and maybe compensate a little bit of timing. That's very easy to do. So our goal is not to drop numbers. I don't know if you think that's a really impressive thing to do, but that's not our goal. Our goal is to develop and engineer and do the R&D on a calibration that will offer a world-class driving experience, safe and amazing performance. That doesn't take 3 or 4 days, and dropping numbers isn't what we do. We're not like a number dropping company. So we're an engineering and R&D company. And we're also balancing, the development effort with many other things too. We support the Mark 7 platform, the Mark 8, all the new current state-of-the-art stuff. We're working on cracking new TCU stuff that nobody else has done. We're developing our server, our mobile app. We're the biggest and best B9 tuner with the most support in the world. So
let's get my mobile flashing launched within that time.
So these are all things we're doing, and dropping numbers is actually something anyone could do. That's not real. I mean, I'm glad. Kudos to the Jackals guys for doing some tuning, spending one day on the dyno, and releasing some numbers, but that's just not the name of the game here. We're working on releasing a world-class product. So
yeah, I mean,
so I think we feel perfectly fine about it.
Yeah, I was sharing numbers with Jose like the day we were working on it, just to get collaborate and talking about how things were going and what was at and the various configurations, because we've done a ton of R&D, not just on getting numbers with a car with a setup. We've changed headers on it. We've done a bunch of various back pressure testing and other development work to know where to focus and what parts should be required on this. We've run it on multiple cars. We've run it done track days with it. We've done a ton of other testing. Spending 2-3 days on a dyno to get a number or a couple numbers on some different octanes. That's probably the smallest development side of this. Like that's a couple of days of time on the dyno. The rest of it, putting it all together, making it all drive properly, making all the transmission shift properly, making all the IAT comps, all the your volumetric efficiency, all of the other calibration work is what takes the time, and then testing it so you've got something you can deliver reliably that's going to work on all these setups.
Yeah. I mean, making some numbers and quote unquote dropping them it's fine. It's just not that much work. It's not that hard to do, and it doesn't mean that's a finished calibration that's ready for people to drive on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we could have dropped numbers in August. We had numbers then.
Yeah. And actually, we can drop some numbers.
Yeah. And sure. Why not? I mean, if that's
why don't you pull up what you have, and it's fine. We can share the numbers we've produced. I think they're consistent from what I saw with what Jackal posted.
With no baseline, it's really hard to know. I'll try and find something. It's a pain in the butt to share from the dyno to here. It's not working at all. The peak numbers.
There's another question about like Jackal, quote unquote, tuned it quickly and produced the same numbers. Spending an afternoon on the dyno and cranking the boost up and making another 50, 60 wheel or whatever is really easy. That's not a tune. That's not a calibration. Our tuning will definitely be different. We will have all the quality engineering that we have in our current file. It will be the best, most competently engineered tune on the market. where we will actually go in and we don't fudge anything. I don't want to go into too much details here, but our tune I think will set the standard on the market. I know there's very enthusiastic support for some other companies, and no one's mind will be changed, and that's okay. You go run whatever tune you want. We're here to serve the people who are looking for a quality tune with the type of engineering that we've been putting into this tune for the last 8 years in the B8 market. Doing things quickly, getting things out quickly, that's not the hallmark of a good engineering effort, unfortunately. Let's see what else. Someone's asking about B9 motor mounts. We do happen to have these prototypes that we can show. So this is part of our Motorsport line of products, which are substantially stronger, stiffer, better performing products that do introduce quite a bit of NVH. We will have 2 versions, a Street Sport and a Track Sport. The Street Sport features slightly softer rubber mounts that won't vibrate as badly, but none of these are for the faint of heart. The V6 motor is pretty smooth, so it's not horrible. Your girlfriend or mom might not like it, but I think the average 20 to 30-year-old automotive obsessed performance customer won't mind it. But these are perfect for anyone who's drag racing.
This is like B8. Sorry, I'm doing this.
These are B9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is similar to the B8, though. I mean, what did you think of the B8 ones? Because they're Motorsport.
The bill. You didn't even know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I didn't feel it at all.
Yeah. So
they're
I mean,
not bad. Yeah.
they're not that bad on the
Nates are nicely broken in. But,
they do break in.
But the V6 isn't as bad. But we get enough complaints about the street density stuff that I just want to warn people that there will be quite a bit of vibration. But these are for anyone who's looking for the utmost performance, the most locked down drivetrain, the strongest drivetrain. These all have a lifetime warranty. You won't be able to break them. So, anyways, these are 3D printed prototypes, but we have production versions coming in the next few months. So look for those if you're in the market for a Motorsport grade B9 mount with a lifetime warranty.
Well, all the mounts have lifetime warranty.
And that's true. B9. Yeah, we have extended on all the density line products. It's a joke on these because I don't think we've ever had
we have never had an issue
on any Motorsport.
Yeah, eventually some TTRS slammed into a wall at like 120 and it like bent the trans mount, and that's the first time I've ever seen a mount.
Oh, really? And which
it's like slightly bent.
Yeah, we'd be happy to take care of that. I thought you were going to say the mount went through the wall.
No.
Yeah,
the car was total, but the mount was like laying on the ground.
Acme cartoon hole in the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Just like a mount shape.
Yep.
On the B9 motors, you suggest a preemptive replace of the rockers for the new style before tuning. It's, if you wanted to do it, it's not a bad idea. Personally, I would kind of like wait until it's needed or you think it's needed. It's just unfortunately a big job. It's going to be pretty expensive to do. So I wouldn't limit yourself. The rocker arm issue is quite isolated and limited. I think there's a lot more talk about it than the reality. So, I wouldn't limit yourself to that. Yeah, there's other more simple maintenance stuff that we do recommend. Anything coming in for the other thing? They somewhat reputable given the recent clout and other cars they do. All I'm saying is they were able to produce public outcomes after a few days, and you all had it for months with and none for us. I'm not sure what he's trying to say, but I mean, like I said, it's not like we haven't had numbers to share. We've just chosen not to share them. I'm not sure what this proves. I don't know. It's like saying there's 2 guys that are having sex with women, and one of the guys talks about the sex he has the very next day or that night, like when he finishes up, he's texting about the sex, and we don't talk about it. It doesn't mean we're not having sex with people, you know. I'm not sure what these I'm not sure what it proves that they just simply released some information about their own tuning efforts, and we've just simply chosen not to. Yeah, I think there's some idea that infers some kind of capability that we don't have because we don't talk about the numbers.
Obviously, we've been talking with Jose about it. We've done a lot of again back and forth on the hardware side. That's 034 doesn't kiss and tell.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
so no, it's.
I don't think. Let's put it clearly. Like, you look at Unitronic, APR, AMS, Motorsport, Cobb. And what are the most reputable tuning other reputable integrated engineering? Let's put them in the list. You know, who else? United Motorsports. What other tuners?
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, tell me any tuning company out there that does it professionally at the level that we do it. They're not doing blow-by-blow updates about every tune they're working on. Right. That's just not something engineering companies do. Banks, you know, Gail Banks, after one afternoon on the dyno, isn't going on Facebook, you know, saying, we made, 60 more power,
Yeah, with no testing.
So, I mean, it's, like I said, good for them if they want to, share blow-by-blow. I think they'll probably regret it at some point. It'll come to bite them. But, good for them. But it doesn't mean that they're better at doing something than anyone else. So it's kind of a silly notion.
Up one there.
034 whines and dines you before ripping your guts up.
Is that good?
I think that's a good thing.
I don't know if that's good or not.
I mean, metaphorically ripping guts, but not actually. I mean, that would be bad. That sounds like
I can't keep up.
That sounds like someone having sex with a horse or something. It's not pleasant at all. All right, let's tackle this other thing. So, someone's asking, was Cameron's car with the Mercracing supercharger engine failure due to 034 Motorsport bad file? Let's see what else. Is there any other questions?
No, just all we got.
Okay. So honestly, you probably don't even know about this, and if you don't, you may want to just pull up TikTok for a few minutes and probably have a better experience. But apparently, someone named Cameron, who we were beta testing with, do we know what his last name is? Purser. Cameron Purser. We engaged with him through Jose of Mercracing, a month ago, something like that. Nate has been working very closely with Jose from Mercracing, too closely, in fact. But we obviously have the Mercracing supercharger on our own B8 here in house, and so we've had all the tuning development we've needed for that. We do not currently have a B8.5 in house with a Mercracing supercharger on it. So.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before too. The whole intent when the project started was Jose's car was going to be the B8.5, just validation platform.
So
actually in that video, Cameron spoke.
He does.
The car had other issues that were unrelated.
So Jose's B8.5, which was originally going to be used to verify B8.5 tuning, had an issue. So Jose brought in Cameron to beta test with, and he has a C7A6 with a 3.0 T in it. And so at that point, unfortunately, normally we have a beta testing program. Beta testing is something that we hold very close to our chest. It's part of our engineering and R&D process. Beta tunes are not completely finished production-ready files. Part of the testing and R&D process is going through the beta and testing on different cars to see what we find. We almost always find something that needs to be corrected, fixed, further developed. And so doing this on Cameron's C7A6, which is essentially the same as a B8.5, served that purpose. And so, because Cameron didn't go through our beta tester process. I don't believe that he was properly notified that what he was even getting involved with. I watched his video.
Yeah, it was all through Jose.
It was through Jose.
You know, kind of our, I guess our.
And there was a lot of trust and kind of goodwill put towards this. Nate kind of trusted that because Cameron was friends with Jose, and that they would be. I mean, I got to say, a level of professionalism when it comes to the beta testing process of being discreet, working directly with us, not releasing information about what we're working on or what we're doing, as part of the beta tester process. So if you are part of KLi-MAX beta testing, you have received an NDA, you've signed it. I've heard that the Jackal guys, have been looking down on that we make people sign NDAs. But this is standard engineering beta testing process for any company. I'm sure eventually, if the Jackal guys continue, they'll be doing, these as well, because you need that kind of, level of professional discretion, so that you can do the engineering and R&D without all the drama like we're experiencing right now.
Well, and I mean, it's all the way down to just this simple communication stuff where, in Cameron's example, we can go back to this because obviously this is what we're talking about. Like, flash the file. The first file had a camshaft position code. Immediately went to Facebook and asked, "Hey guys, did 034 give me the wrong file?"
Yeah, it's like anyone on Facebook.
I'm having problems with this now. It says B8 in the file name. I think they gave me a file for a B8. It's like, that nobody on Facebook can help.
Yeah, so
it's a very unprofessional path for the interactions when we're trying to collaborate and at an engineering level work together.
And in hindsight, he was a bad person to do this beta testing with, because he also has this YouTube social media channel, and unfortunately, anything is it's kind of like dating Taylor Swift. You might become one of her songs in the future. So it's like so it's like you just have to be careful that someone's not going to use the beta testing process for YouTube content, which is ultimately what's happened. So anyways, apparently Cameron blew his motor.
That's the narrative. We don't know anything.
According to his video, he says he blew the motor. He says that there was one instance where he was doing a pull, and he had a spark plug covered in oil, and so he replaced all the plugs, continued to run it, and now he's had another event where cylinder 5 is like filled with oil, and it is. He put a borescope down there. Mm-hmm. I saw the video. I saw the borescope. His piston looks flawless. There's no signs of detonation. His spark plug is covered in oil, but there's no signs of detonation on the spark plug. When you see severe engine-destroying detonation, the plug electrode will be gone, and you'll see pitting in the piston, and you'll see the ring lands melted. There's no signs of any of that from the video. Cameron has not said that it's our fault.
No.
He's kind of posted this kind of mysterious video. Unfortunately, he hasn't done an engine teardown, but it does look like the piston rings in cylinder 5. He probably has a broken or cracked ring. He discloses that his engine was burning oil previous to that he had concerns about the motor. He thought it might be valve stem seals, but there's no way he would know that. So Cameron seems like a really nice guy. I don't know him. I have nothing against him other than the fact that I regret beta testing with him, because he hasn't shown the kind of discretion. Instead of working on a calibration right now, we're taking public attacks from trolls and kind of these toxic threads where we're being attacked and questioned, or potentially our tuning is being questioned as blowing or damaging his motor when it had nothing to do with it. We've seen the logs, which he's also posted publicly, which a beta tester would never do.
Not part of the
there's nothing wrong with the logs. There's no signs of detonation. It's actually, the beta file is purposely on the rich side. Just it'll make less power, but it's overly rich just to keep the combustion temps down. So our tune did not cause his oil consumption, oil piston ring issue. And this is something that happens in these motors have oiling ring issues. It's not a new thing. So I think there's just a lot of trolls out there that want to take anything, and I guess they're bored and they have nothing better to do. They want to turn it into a bunch of drama. So we're not sure where our relationship with Cameron stands. We were hoping to help him with tuning and get the Mercracing supercharger running really good on his car. That hasn't happened, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I mean, the last communication I had, we had no idea this was. He was planning on this. He just dropped this without talking to us at all. The last communications I had with him was like, we're here to support you. Let's get the actual diagnostics going so you can see what the real fault is, not just some borescope pictures and some speculation. You got to get in there and figure out where things are at, and then he chose to kind of I don't know, turn it into a clickbaity article on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean,
which I get. I mean, he's got a YouTube channel.
Cameron knows what he's doing. He has a YouTube channel. It's just big letters. Catastrophic engine failure. He's already had 5,000 views, which is impressive.
Yeah.
I have a YouTube channel. I can post anything and get 5,000 views. So he's had really good engagement. Really, successful. I mean, he has an interesting YouTube channel, right? Mm-hmm. And it's been very engaging the past 24 hours with a lot of people watching his video, going on Facebook, getting in arguments, debating, being part of the conversation. But I have nothing against Cameron. I think some people were saying we were going to come on here and throw him under the bus or something. We haven't said anything that he hasn't said in his video. He's very clear about the health of his motor in the video if you watch it. I think if you want to see, it's like 15 minutes in, 10 to 15 minutes in, he spends quite a bit of time talking about Jose's motor, his motor, and he's very fair about it. So I don't think Cameron's intention was to go on YouTube and blame us. I don't believe he has. And I think it's mostly kind of the trolls who have tried to make this into that we blew his motor or something like that. Someone says it's absolutely
like blame him or something, or
yeah. It's nobody's fault. These motors blow. Cameron happens to be the person who owns it, so we're not responsible for his motor being blown. Our tune didn't blow his motor. We know that, but this is what happens when you start tuning and you put a prototype supercharger, with beta tuning, and your engine has some unknown tuning history where you've done lots of pulls and tuning with it. You got to throw in a new motor every once in a while. And Cameron was already building a replacement motor before this one blew. He was already working on another motor to put in the car. Someone says it's absolutely ridiculous that 034 is being blamed for Cameron's engine going toast. He's beta testing a large blower on a car that has 160,000 plus miles.
Yeah, I was up there in knowledge.
I think he knew what he signed up for. And I think Cameron knows it too. There was nothing from the video that I saw that indicated that he didn't understand what he was getting himself into. Someone says, wouldn't it have been beneficial to all parties if 034 would have reached out with an explanation of expectations pertaining to the beta?
Yeah, that's what we just spoke about. Where this kind of came through Jose, it was not our normal beta process. There was a little more trust and I guess that's the biggest point. There was a little more trust put into the process between Jose, Cameron, and myself, and that obviously just can't happen moving forward. It needs to be much more formal, and cut and dry.
100% we fucked that up. Like I said 7 minutes ago or whatever. It's our responsibility to engage beta testers through our official beta testing program. We do use an NDA to make sure that everyone understands that the expectations, what they are. This isn't our way of shutting people up or getting around, any kind of responsibility. If we tell you that, this beta testing program is confidential and that there's terms and conditions to it and there's a process to use, then you just need to sign your name that you understand that. If we ask you not to talk publicly about the beta testing process, that means we don't want you to do it. And if you want to talk publicly about it, fine. then we won't do beta testing.
Well, I mean, it depends what it is too.
I just want to state the NDA. The NDA is signed by both sides. If you don't want to do beta testing, you don't have to. But we're not forcing anyone into anything. And in this case, Cameron himself admits that he knew what he was signing himself up for. I don't think he fully understood the beta testing process. I think he felt like he was getting early access to a production file from hearing him talk in his video.
Right.
And
this wasn't like a ground up file. We spent a week. We put the
it wasn't. But it was beta.
It was beta for sure. It hadn't been on a C7. It hadn't been run on a production blower.
In the video, he literally flashed his car and went and did a quarter-mile pull. And then I think he was expecting that file to be the fastest he'd ever run. That one run.
Well,
and,
yeah. So
it's like, well, they're on a beta file. It's conservative. Our goal isn't. That wasn't a world record quarter-mile file. That was a beta testing file, and I don't think he really understood that.
Yeah, and there was a lot of that process, and he spoke to it a little bit, and he posted all the logs, so you can see. On his car, we were chasing down the bypass valve was cracking. I was working with him on that. The first 4 files I sent and logging updates. Most of that effort and days were wasted because he had traction control on. He speaks about that in the video as well. So then we had to reset and not start over, but then we could start doing further work. And it was mostly like small revisions to the file, but I was adding logging variables and some other stuff just to try and isolate where that torque reduction was coming into place, or that pressure deviation was coming into place. But yeah, the file was never in a point where it was going to be like, yep, go rip it. It's going to be your quarter-mile winner. You've got an opening bypass valve. So that when you ran the 11.8, at no point had I had said, yeah, the file's good to go. Like,
well, and it was opening the bypass.
Oh yeah, you can see that's why you can see it in the.
But Cameron doesn't say that in the video, even though he knows that. As something, I don't think Cameron discussed this in the video either, and I don't know if he shared this publicly. But we did. Nate engaged with Jose, and it was very informal. And so once that came to light about 3 weeks ago, when I heard about it, I was like, we got to get him into the beta process.
The catalyst was him going to the forums asking about that. Did I get a B8 file? Do you know what file I need? And it was just like, oh my god, this is instantly gone. Like, this was about as unprofessional as you could get with a question like that on a development process we're trying to engage.
So at that point, it was like, Cameron, we'd like you to engage with us in the beta process, and we sent him all the beta paperwork, and he did refuse to sign it. And I think now it's clear that he was able to been able to make this video and post about stuff, and it's actually a pretty juicy piece of content for him at this point. So again, I don't think you're a bad guy, Cameron, but I just want to make sure that our side is represented as well. And for anyone who thinks that we didn't try to set expectations with him, we did. We tried. But at that point, I think it was too late because he already had the tune. He already had what he wanted. And then, his engine continued to go downhill after that through several different events. So
yeah, everybody's saying NDA is required for confidence stuff. That's a normal thing. NDAs are needed to protect all parties during development.
That's right.
I support them. Yeah, no, and a lot of people get it.
Well, I think
they get villainized.
Nobody has a problem with it, but one of our competitors is trying to, throwing shade at us like the NDA is a bad thing, which is just something you'd expect your competitor to do, I guess. Demonize whatever you do, no matter good or bad. So anyways, if there's anything else, I don't know. There's not much more to say. Our tunes are safe.
Somebody's saying wouldn't think anything posted publicly was malicious. We don't think it was trying to be malicious. It was
no. Yeah. Like I said, I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's trying to hurt us. But maybe he has some gripes, and we do too. Things did not go the way that we wanted to from a beta R&D standpoint, and now we're going to have to find a different B8.5 beta tester.
And to be clear, if there's any confusion to you guys out there, the C7A6 shares the exact same ECU architecture software as a B8.5, so that's why that's a comparable vehicle to tune on. It also got us ZF8 validation for the transmission stuff.
So the 034 Taylor Swift jokes make me laugh so hard. Came for the engineering, stayed for the memes. Wonderful. I'll try to scrape a couple more together by the end. So anyways, if anyone else has anything else, I mean, throw your best trolling
Yeah.
stuff at us so we can see. Do you guys think this whole Cameron blown engine fiasco effect and ditching 034 for Jackal tuning sport affects your sales or your relationship with Mercracing? We've been talking to Jose through this.
I was talking to him this morning.
I don't think he's happy about how this has gone down either. But I guess we'll let him speak for himself beyond that. I don't think anyone,
I gotta run. I'll be right back. The battery's about to.
Okay.
Can I steal yours?
I think anyone with any kind of sensibility, can see right through all the drama. I track our sales of all of our products and tuning, and we sold a lot of B8 tuning yesterday. Probably as much as Jackal does in weeks or months. I don't know. So no, it's not hurting us. I don't know who would ditch us, for this kind of stuff that goes on. But we're still doing very well in B8. We sell a lot of B8 tunes. We still have a lot of support in B8. I just don't think I think our customers aren't really interested in the drama as much, and they're more interested in driving their car and enjoying, and maybe they watch the drama from the sidelines. But there's some very, very vocal people who are very enthusiastic about all this stuff, and I don't think most of our customers are interested in that.
Let's see if I made it.
Is this a question or a statement?
That's from there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and just to be clear, anything that we're saying here is since this stuff gets public and is put out there, we just simply have to state the facts from our perspective and set the record straight from our perspective, because there are people out there who twist things, who demonize things, who lie and falsify pieces of information around this and everything else. So that's what's one of the great things about this live chat every week. It gets a lot of views. I know a lot of people and a lot of Jackal supporters are watching this. People have been anticipating what we would say about this all day yesterday. So we're always going to state the record, set the record straight, and state the facts as we see it from our perspective. So, yeah, I think we've been pretty clear. None of us should be even talking about this, because we should be working with Cameron to get another motor in his car and developing the tune.
Like I said, the last communication was, we're here to help. Like, let's get the actual diagnostics done. And see what's going on.
But if anyone thinks, that we blew his motor or whatever, watch the video, look at the piston, which looks perfectly
well. And at this point, you can look at all the logs.
And then look at the logs. And the logs show that there's absolutely nothing wrong.
He went and shared all those as well. So.
And people have been verifying that as well, not just us.
Yeah.
Anyone can look at the logs. Anyone can use basic tuning logic to determine that the logs are safe.
Qualified.
No, basic tuning logic, not made up bullshit.
Do you want me to share that guy before we? Or I guess we.
The what?
I got a couple.
So there's been some, since there's been some talk about dropping numbers. Why don't we drop some numbers? These are some
preliminary ones. These were back in November.
Yeah, so we could have dropped these in November, quote unquote drop.
Right. It's just a comparison.
Is this like Beyonce dropping music from space?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we should have dropped these numbers from like a more exciting place.
It took me a minute to pull this together. So this car, it's a little different.
The gravity or turn it back on randomly.
Yeah. It's a little different on comparison here, a little tricky, because there's been some other hardware changes between these poles from when we did the first 2+ development. So it's got a different transmission in it, different gear ratios, all that stuff. So that will affect dyno numbers. But anyway, with that qualification, the top line is the Mercracing charger. Middle line is the Stage 2+, and the base line at the bottom is stock. So it is, substantial power increase over the,
Yeah, it's like another 25%
over the 2+ file.
Yeah.
That is a 2+ file without cams. Ours has cams. There's a little difference on the top end between those, but the Mercracing charger is still, 2+ with cams with everything else is still a gain everywhere.
Yeah, you can see the torque too is across the board.
Yeah. So I mean, we've got
what is the peak number?
it's just under 5. I think it was 490 on that. I was trying to just grab one quick.
And this is on our dyno,
492,
which is a very accurate reading dyno.
And that's the other thing is
this could easily be 20% more on a different dyno.
Yeah, you can't translate that other. It's never a thing.
But we're right around 500 wheel on our dyno, which is a lot of power. Again, on our dyno. What did we had one guy dyno this weekend at the
Lincoln's car, yeah,
and he was thinking it was going to be like 450 wheel.
440 to 450 is what he was guessing.
Yeah, which he's done on a different dyno.
He sells Dynapacks. Like the guy sells.
Like in his gory details.
He knows a good idea of what it's.
I don't want to reveal all the gory details, but he made what 350.
Thereabouts,
yeah. So I mean, he was down almost 100 wheel from what he has done on a different dyno.
And again, it was and
that was just 2 days ago.
Yeah, he was thinking like 5% difference, and it was like
No, I mean, and it's not like our dyno reads low; it just reads.
No, and he said the car was fast as hell, and he's really excited for it. We don't pump the numbers for anything. It's as accurate as we can make it, as repeatable as we can make it.
Well, the reality is the car makes the same power on both dynos. It's just
it doesn't matter what
the power is different on one.
And it's really what does it do on the street? What does it do on the track? Right. What does it do when you're actually driving?
But the reason I want to make that point is our 500 wheel could easily be 570 on a different dyno, or 530 or 550. So when other people are comparing their dyno numbers, you just have to keep in mind that these dyno numbers are not calibrated to each other. That they're supposed to be an expression of horsepower and torque. And there is a theoretical standard for that, but in practice, dynos can be calibrated to read whatever horsepower. Imagine a ruler with slots in the middle, so you can make a foot 13 inches or 11 inches, and anything in between. So that's how these dynos are too.
There's so many other qualifications that go around the chassis dyno that affect numbers, from what tires you're running, what is your tire pressure, how is it strapped. That can add 20 or 30 horsepower.
Yeah, and just for reference, those are 104 octane numbers, which is going to be similar to E85.
Yeah, we were again doing development back and forth with different fueling, different but
typically we see the same 104 and E85 makes similar.
Absolutely. Yep.
Actually, E85 is even a little bit.
It's a little more, just because you get a little more cylinder cooling.
Yeah. Someone says horsepower numbers today are so wild. I miss when 200 plus.
No kidding. We were talking about that too.
Yeah, no, that's hilarious. Yep. He's right.
Yeah, 200 used to be scary.
Okay, all right. Let's move on. I think we dealt with that well.
We have a lot of questions here, guys.
So that sets a lot of the craziness up, but probably not.
Scott commented.
You what?
Scott commented. All right.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's a really good point he brings up. Is it doesn't matter what the dyno is. You start your calibrations on one, you end it on the same one. You don't pinball around it. Yeah. It's a baseline measurement from where you start.
That's right. It's very accurate as long as you're on the same dyno. The accuracy of the dyno is extremely good. It's just when you start comparing different dynos is when you get issues.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try to hit a couple questions here. What are the potential horsepower and torque numbers in the future for TT810? What updates will be needed for that? We can't comment too much on specifics, but there is more power there. It's going to require the fueling upgrades to get more fuel.
The theme of this episode is kind of like dropping numbers, isn't it? Yeah, like that's dropping numbers without testing the qualifications again.
And then you're going to want at least rods and pistons, because we are at the practical limit of what the stock engine, which is insane, 600 wheel. We're at the practical limit of what's safe, and we're well past the kind of normal rule of thumb, torque per cylinder that you would normally use for an Audi engine. We're way past that, and so are our competitors, most of our competitors as well. Do you think Audi will recall the rocker arms and the B9s? We're starting to see follower failure of high pressure fuel pumps as well. I don't think they will. I mean, it's been a while, but you never know. No, I wouldn't count on it.
It's funny, we reached out to
a dealership
regarding the rocker failures, and it is not a thing. Like the symptom doesn't, or the problem doesn't exist. There's no TSBs or.
This is what we keep saying is it's like 10. It's made 10 times worse in this little community compared to the reality. It does happen, but not nearly to the level that people think it does. Someone says, here's how much I trust 034. I launched my S3 one time, APR tuned, and the turbo took a bath in oil. I tuned my R on the lot with 10 miles and launched it out the gate. Is that the guy that we heard launching down the street out of our driveway? Thank you for your trust. Yeah, absolutely. No concern with launching like that.
We try to test
our tunes are well tested. I'm sold on your tunes due to keeping the Audi safety features in mind to keep my motor going long and strong. Keep up the great work. Cool. Oh, thank you for appreciating and understanding that. One of the keys that we talk about a lot is, in order to keep all the safety features and systems intact, the ECU cannot have any parameters fudged or estimated or rounded. And in the tuning world, it's very difficult to go in and rescale all the tuning parameters inside the ECU for the new levels of boost and power and load. And so what other tuners do is they'll change the top row from 1.0 to some other value that scales up. And when you do that, you start nullifying the safety features in the system, because once the ECU no longer has accurate data on what the actual operating parameters are, the safety systems are no longer functional. So it's kind of like if there was a safety system that tracked how close you got to the edge of a cliff, and if normally it would start alarming when you got 10 feet from the edge, if you go in the system and you fudge that and it doesn't know, it might let you get 1 foot, and it might think 1 foot is actually 10 feet. You could end up falling off the edge, and that's what happens in a lot of these tunes. To do it right is not easy. We have the skills and expertise in house, thanks to tuning and calibrating these types of ECUs for over 10 years now, to go in and re-engineer this at the software level and change the actual functionality in the ECU to ensure that all the tuning parameters are read accurately and that all the safety systems are intact. Almost nobody else does that out there, certainly not to the level we do across the board with all our tunes and calibrations. You just don't hear a lot of other people even talking about that because they don't want to talk about it because they're not doing it.
It's a shortcut.
Yeah, they're doing shortcuts, band-aids, workarounds. And that can help you do a fast quarter mile. It can help you accelerate fast. It might help you make a couple more horsepower on the dyno. But what it doesn't ensure is that your engine will be protected, that the NOx sensing system is calibrated correctly, that all the load tables ensure the right fueling, the right boost control behavior. All the safety features are contingent on having accurate data and information inside the ECU. This is kind of a real nuanced, difficult concept.
It's
to even
really
think about.
Get across, because there's a lot of, and I bring it up from time to time. I'm sure everybody nods off, but there's a lot of mathematical problems inside these ECUs when you get too far along and are raising limits as high as they're getting now.
Does your KLi-MAX DSG software fix the short shift issue in first gear when it's spinning?
That is the balancing point I'm working on now, but yes, it does. So we're able to wind it out. We can make it shift at the rev limiter, or bring it's finding a balance where that's kind of one of the final tweaks we're doing right now. But yes, it is removed that. I'm blasting through the gears and wet and dry.
I don't think people know what's coming with KLi-MAX.
Yeah, it varies a little bit because the TCU still has to complete a shift, but no, it should be far higher than what it used to be.
Some of the performance improvements we're seeing, like from 0 to 60 and a quarter mile, 60 foot stuff is shocking.
Yep.
3.0 T-cams, you guys have a file for that. Currently, we don't have a file. The file isn't needed.
It's not needed. We do.
The cams make more power, and the ECU accommodates the power increase.
Yeah, there's some tweaking. It depends on the car. I mean, at this point, I have a B8 file, but it's not anything that we've determined is required for these things.
You can put the cams in, and you will get that quote unquote 30 horsepower.
Yeah. We've had losing my mind right now, but the shop validated they had a B8.5 car. They just did the testing a couple months ago. the exact same dyno results we got with it.
Yeah,
With
exactly.
with
Yeah.
the same unchanged tune.
Yep. Yeah. No, you don't need a specific tune. The way the B8 ECU works, it's not like a turbo file. The ECU will accommodate the additional power. Certainly on our tuning, on our standard tuning. One more question.
This one we haven't talked about yet. I don't think.
Which one? Oh, can you tune my 2019 Audi Q8 3.0T? We can. We released
Yeah, those are on the website.
Our file for that last week, and that's awesome. Also fits D5 A8 as well.
And the 4.5 Q7.
Yeah, 4M.5 Q7 with a 3.0T turbo motor. Yeah, really nice. One of my friends was one of the beta testers.
Yep.
He actually didn't post about it in Facebook groups, thankfully.
Yes.
So he should now. I've told him he should go on there and say, because
he actually talked about it.
He's raving about how much he loves the car now. And interesting enough, I mean, the car is faster, but he also goes on and on about all the little kind of quirks in the factory tuning and shifting that are gone now.
Yeah.
That he really loves. So to him, he's like, I was thinking about getting rid of the car. It's like a whole new car now. So he loves it.
With the transmission
in the
unit,
Q8.
yeah.
And the car needs the extra power. It's a bigger car. Same size as the Q7. All right, guys. I think that's it for today. Thank you for watching and listening. As always, we appreciate being heard and being able to clear the air, hopefully.
Yep.
Cheers. We'll see you guys next week.